I'm Bishop Darrell Watkins, and let's queer up the USA View. Journalist exposes 188 Christian and Republican leaders accused of child abuse in 2025. A shocking new report highlights the growing hypocrisy within conservative circles that accuse LGBTQ+ people of, quote, grooming, end quote, children. Journalist Evan Hurst, managing editor of the progressive outlet Wonkette, has tracked 188 Christian and Republican leaders accused, sued, or convicted of child abuse and exploitation this year alone. Hurst says, quote, if MAGA is so upset about Epstein, they should hear about Baptist, end quote. His database links to dozens of local news reports detailing abuse cases tied to churches and GOP figures. Hurst's latest update, posted on Halloween, added 49 new names to the list, underscoring how frequently these scandals emerge. According to Hurst, the pace of abuse revelations is overwhelming. Quote, conservative Christian leaders are such prolific groomers and abusers of kids, if you let it go any more than a month, then it will take you hours and hours and hours and days and weeks to compile an update, end quote. He also mocked right-wing outrage against queer communities, writing, quote, if you are tracking drag queens or trans people, you can take sabbaticals to Europe as often as you fucking want, because those stories just don't happen much, end quote. At the end, he asked, quote, is it anti-Christian extremism to tell the truth about who is really sexually abusing children in this country, end quote? No, it is not extremism. It is due diligence. It would be malpractice to not name those kinds of things. Most of us of a certain age lived our lives with the fear of that accusation. I have nieces and nephews. I even have a kid now. He's grown now, but I love children. I've always loved children, and that you have to be. That you're afraid to love children like normal, healthy adults do, like your nieces and your grandchildren or whatever, that you're almost afraid of that, and because of their accusation. Meanwhile, with that lot, every accusation is a confession.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, proselytizing and evangelizing are just forms of grooming. Come join, as opposed to queer people. It's not a club you can join.
Most of you we don't want.
Right.
Stay over there.
But it also explains why those leaders are often so good at it, because they're constantly evangelizing and proselytizing. So it just seems like a natural extension of that. That's just in my opinion.
But what they don't just use like, oh, this is so fun, come try this. They use threats. If you don't do this, then there's this whole other world that we can't prove exists, but you're going there and it's going to be really bad. But if you share our opinion or join our group or whatever, then you're in. So, especially if they can get you young enough, which is what grooming is, if they can implant that paranoid and pathological idea into your head, it will take you the rest of your life of therapy to get it out. So not only are they grooming, but they are using psychological violence to do it.
It's a classic case of, hey, look over there while my hand's in the cookie jar.
Exactly.
Right?
100, yeah.
History repeating itself, right?
Yeah, the ladies doth protest too much is really the story here. But it's frightening that, as you said, our community has that label, and also I think it sends a message to our young people that are LGBTQ that they're seeing like who can they trust with their relationships. I know there was a story once about in the Catholic Church that a lot of younger people that went to become altar boys and things of that nature, they did it because they thought if I go to church, they knew in their head that they were queer, and that they thought the church could maybe cure them, and then they put themselves in the lion's den
with being abused.
And I can imagine that only happens across the nation in churches where people, your families who are very religious saying, God will be able to solve this problem for you, and you go to seek the counsel of a religious leader who then abuses you.
Instead of having a healthy, happy sexual experience like like you're meant to have. You have this traumatizing experience just because you couldn't be honest and they wouldn't accept you, and it's a cycle of violence, really.
Yeah. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.